Good, feeling good. Training camps finally starting to come to a slower pace, starting to let the body recover, getting ready for fight week, man.
How, you've been in so many big fights. How are these title fights different as you're about to go into your third now title fight, Dustin? Is it different in any way because there is obviously more on the line?
Um, Training camp is similar. The work is similar. It's just a lot more media, yeah, a lot more hype. Obviously, main eventing a
Right.
pay per view is one thing, but when the title's on the line, it's a big deal.
Is there like a pressure to try and build up these fights? You obviously want as many people to watch as possible. You're charged, you're tasked with carrying the card. How about that aspect of it? And you also have to go in there and fight a guy who is incredibly dangerous.
Right. I feel like longtime UFC fans are obviously familiar with my fights, so they kind of sell themselves. You're gonna get a fight when I'm in there. When that bell rings, I'm scrapping, man. And other than that, I don't have to. I feel like I don't have to do anything on my end crazy or anything to try to really extra push the fight card. I'm fighting the number one pound for pound guy in the UFC, and I'll always leave it all out there. So if you're a fight fan, you're a fan of this kind of fight.
What's the approach going into this one, Dustin? Again, and I mean, tell me actually. Let me ask you that. You're a Hall of Famer. Period. Your career stands by itself, no matter what happens next Saturday. For you, though, how important is getting that belt and being a champion?
It's greatly important. I think I've said this over and over again. I've done everything in the sport except wear the undisputed crown. That's the last thing I have left to do. I think that puts a stamp on a Hall of Fame career that really, to me, it locks me in there with the greats, and I want that title.
Do you look at this like this is the last opportunity? I mean, this is the last best chance you will have to be UFC champion?
I feel like I'm capable of anything. If I committed myself to climbing back up the ladder, I can do it again.
Yeah.
It's just where I'm at in life and how long I've been fighting. I don't think I will climb that ladder again. I want to get it done this time.
Who the heck knows how these fights go? You listen to people. As a matter of fact, we talked to Islam a couple of weeks ago, and he said, Dustin's great legend, but he said I think stylistically this is not a good matchup for him. He said your weak point was grappling and wrestling. When you hear something like that, what's the response?
I don't know if it's a weak point, but he's right. People who try to slow the fight down and make it a grappling chess match, those have been the hardest fights for me to get going because I do best when it stays a fight, when it doesn't slow down, when it's a scramble with punches flying and both of us bleeding. That's where I do the best work. Um, and I'm not trying to hold him down and win rounds. I'm trying to knock him out and hurt him and finish him and get out of there. That's the way I fight.
What's the key to making it that to imposing that style of fight on Saturday? How do you make it that fight instead of the fight that he wants?
Be in the moment, be reactive to all of his shots. Don't get overzealous throwing power shots where I take myself out of position and become an easy target for a trip or a takedown. Don't play the clinch. There's a list of things. Don't play in the clinch with him. He has really good foot sweeps, really strong upper body. Keep it a fight. Use my wheels. Stay moving. Keep him guessing, and then tighten him up.
I was listening to Conor McGregor talk about the fight, and he said, "Hey, look, the one time Islam lost, it was from sort of a check left hook. That's one of Dustin's best shots. I think Dustin goes in there and knocks him out." Do you think that he is vulnerable to being knocked out when he's on the feet?
I think everybody is. Anyone is if they get hit with the right shot. I feel like I possess the power and the timing to finish anybody at 155 pounds if they get silly in there.
Yep.
It's just capitalizing on those mistakes, or if he gets overextended, making him pay for it. I just need to be tight, balanced, in a good rhythm that night, and I can get it done.
They're obviously not the same guy, but you fought Habib. Habib is obviously they're close, coach, and all that stuff. Do you take anything from the Habib fight, Dustin, that you can carry into the fight against Islam?
Yeah, stay off the fence. Don't let him take me down.
You were so darn